This is teaching tips for present perfect for life experiences. Now this present perfect sort of subtopic is probably the first time a lot of your students will have seen present perfect. So it can be quite difficult for them to get their head around because it's something in the past and they might think, why don't we just use past simple? Especially if they don't have an analogous, a similar form in their own language. So the question is, how can we make this clear to them so that they don't just brush it aside or completely ignore it? Because the thing about life experiences in using present perfect is that it's very limited in how we actually use it in conversation. There's only so much you can say. It's generally the beginning of a conversation that will mostly be in past simple. Because we're going to tell a story after this. Because what we're moving towards is this use. It's to give new information and start a conversation. At this point, when learning present perfect, especially when it comes to the first use, present perfect for life experiences, limiting the understanding to this is not a bad thing, I find. Because then at least students understand there's a reason for us to use this. It's not just past. So, here's how I like to start. I like to start with some sort of introduction to my context, but then my context will be something like Finland. So I went to Finland, let's say 2 months ago, and I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. I did this, I want to talk about it. But I need to know, did you go to Finland before? Is it important to me when you went to Finland? No, it's not. So how do I ask? Have you been to Finland? So I establish that question going through the fact that I want to talk about something that I did. I need to know if you did it, but I don't care when you did it. And that is present perfect for life experiences. And what I'm moving towards is really this timeline. It's sometime in the past, and it's not important when you did it in the past. Now at this point, I don't want to get too much into present perfect has something to do with the present. It does. It does. Because when I hear, have you been to Finland before? When I hear, yes I have, what does that show me about the present? You can talk with me about Finland. Or, if you haven't been to Finland, I know that I'm the one who knows about Finland and you may or may not be interested. So it's something that you did before, when isn't important, and it's used for new information or to start a conversation. So if I say, oh, I've never eaten Korean food. If I say that, what will the conversation be about after that? Probably Korean food. The whole point of present perfect for life experiences is to start a conversation, most of which will be in past simple. And to differentiate, that's why I like this timeline so much. Because it differentiates strongly from this one I use for past simple, where it's just an X, a specific time. So that differentiation is something that I find very helpful as students continue to learn. Because this is one of the two timelines, as I see it, that explains, it describes when we use present perfect. So when you teach for life experience, it's just, I did it before, when is not important, new information, and to start a conversation. That is why we use present perfect in these instances when textbooks, when exercises reference these instances of using present perfect for life experiences. And again, this is the first time the students will see it. We don't want them to be too scared of it so that they are worried about it later. This has very limited use in conversation in English. We don't want them to overuse it, but they need to understand that that is how we speak in English. That's how people speak. It's the normal, natural way of speaking. And if they don't have a reference in their own language, they need to understand that this is different. This is something new. And they need to feel comfortable with that.